now. Okay, good evening everybody, good evening YouTube, and welcome to episode...
I didn't write it down.
You didn't write it down? Oh my god. Oh, what episode are we on? As usual, great start. It's got to be...
31.
Episode 31 of the FPL Family. We should know that. We should really prep better for these, shouldn't we? We should really prep better.
It's your job, this.
The only prep we've done for this, guys, is that Sam is sitting here so excited. So excited to tell you about her team. She's so excited. But before we get onto that, because... to be honest, guys, it's going to be an hour probably of you just talking about your team. We're going to say hello to a few guys on the stream. So let's see in the chat. So Leo's here. Hey, Leo, how you doing? Merry Christmas to you guys, by the way. I hope you all had a good Christmas and looking forward to the new year. Felix is on. How you doing, Felix? Jamal's on. Hey, Jamal, how you doing? Hope you had a good game week. We're going to check out the league a bit later on. So we'll see whether Jamal has managed to increase his lead or whether he's been clawed back in by D-Boy and some of the other guys. Craft is on. Hey Craft, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Sad news on Rondon Watch this week. So Craft is one of the guys on Twitter that suggested we do with the Who Got the Assist Boys, the Rondon versus Neon thing. Sad to report that Rondon has got a bit of a niggle, so we shall cover that in a second. That was a one low point, yeah. In a week of absolute highs for you. And by the way, guys, I did pretty well as well. I'm quite happy with my score, but I looked at your score and I've suddenly felt very, very inferior. Anwanet's here. Hello, Anwanet. How are you doing? Let's see who else is here. JC, good to see you. And Leo, cool. Felix as well. Hey, everybody. So thank you for joining. I appreciate that you could be watching Palace versus Arsenal right now. We've got it on in the background, so if anything happens live, we'll report that to you. We thought that it'd be reasonably safe to do this during that game because not that many FPL assets knocking about from that game, except for maybe Loftus-Cheek. Yeah, Loftus-Cheek. But Arsenal assets.
There's Clash Snatch, but I don't know.
Oh, he's back in the side, isn't he, tonight? Yeah.
Yeah, so interesting. But I don't know how many people kept him because he's not played for a few weeks. So I don't know whether people got off him. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think people would have sold him by now.
When I looked back through the teams around me in the league anyway, it was really only Loftus-Cheek tonight for the most part. Yeah, indeed. Thomas,
you're talking about what's our league code. I think if that's a question to us, and have a look in the bottom left-hand side of the screen, mate, there should be a league code there, 69679-209727. Rolls off the tongue, that, doesn't it? Rolls off the tongue. Right, guys, let's crack on with what we're going to talk about today. So we have got plenty, absolutely loads to talk about from game week 20 of the Fantasy Premier League, not least your team, which we will start with in a second. I appreciate you are raring to go.
I've got an eyelash in my eye.
Oh, really?
That's what I was just waiting. Sorry.
What was that? It was tears of joy for your fantasy team. Is that what it was?
I've got an eyelash in my eye. I'm sure it'll be fine.
So we're going to talk about your team. We're going to talk very briefly about my team, if we've got any time.
We'll talk about yours first, shall we?
We can. Well, that'd be very nice, wouldn't it? That'd be very nice. I also want to get your opinion on the Virgil van Dijk thing, because that's happened in the last 24 hours, so we can touch on that briefly, guys. Let us know in the comments in the live chat, guys, what you think about the Virgil van Dijk situation. Does that mean that Southampton are now, lambs to the slaughter for Lukaku and Zlatan and all those guys at the weekend? And does it shore up Liverpool?
I don't think he'd have played anyway.
Yeah, he's kind of been left out the last couple of game weeks, hasn't he? But and does it make all the difference for Liverpool? So let us know what you think about the Virgil van Dijk situation, guys.
I presume that he can't play against Leicester because it's not January the 1st.
I don't know, actually. Guys, you tell us. I mean, I don't think he can play, right? He's been pictured
until January the 1st, surely.
So I think he's still a Southampton player until January the 1st, but he has been pictured with the shirt.
I know the deal was done, but surely that just means he can't play for you against Leicester. So his first game week will be game week 22.
Either way, don't pick him in your FPL team this week because it's a bit unsure, isn't it? It's a bit uncertain.
I think that's right.
So we'll do that. Well, why don't we do that? Just give us a very quick insight into how you think the Van Dijk thing is going to change Liverpool.
I think it will make a big difference to you. I do. It'll be somebody with a bit of clout, a bit of a bit vocal at the back, somebody to drag the rest of them.
Bit of leadership, I think, is probably required. Yeah,
into a line. Yeah. Although, having said that, I actually thought that you played very well defensively. I mean, I know you were playing Swansea, but still, I'm absolutely at a loss.
Couple of days ago, maybe. Yeah, it's all blurring into one, isn't it, from a football perspective over Christmas?
I think it was Tuesday. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a good signing. I'm glad it's over. To be honest, I'm fed up with hearing about it all the time.
But it was kind of nice that actually over the summer, Liverpool did their best to really screw that transfer up. But it came to coming up to January, and rather than it turning into a saga and it happening on the 31st of January, It's been done. They seem to have got it done with very little kind of to-in and throw-in and nonsense. So
part of me wonders whether that's also to do with the Coutinho stuff or all those rumours that are coming up about, keeping him and whether actually making that signing early on in the window might just settle a few nerves around that. Because there's a lot of talking about, would you want to be a player of his quality playing in front of what you got at the back?
Yeah.
So maybe there's something in that, I don't know.
Okay, so a few of the guys are saying bring Virgil van Dijk in before January the 1st for the quadruple. That's what Richard's saying. Thanks, Richard. I don't know if we're not in the Carling Cup, so it can't be a quadruple, mate. But let's see. I do think that it's going to make a difference.
Well, it could be because you could win Champions League.
Champions League, and FA Cup we're still in. So you could do a treble, not quadruple.
Well, you're still in the league, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so there's that. Liverpool only conceded 3 goals at home all season. Virgil van Dijk will improve that. Yeah, I think it's. I genuinely, I'm really pleased.
Form, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm really pleased to see him come into the team. I always get a feeling for whether it's a brilliant signing or not. I think he's a good signing. Do I think he's overpriced? Massively. Right, 75 million is a lot of money, but that is the market, guys. At the moment, that is you pay your money and you just have to pay this sort of money if you want these big players. The player I'm really excited about is Keita. I think Keita's going to make a massive difference to us in the summer.
He's not coming till the summer, right?
Not coming till the summer. But if you put Virgil van Dijk's leadership in there, a bit less leaky, if you like, from set pieces, because he should organise them a bit more at set pieces. And you put Keita in there, marshalling in front of the back four. I think you've got a nice recipe for success there.
Okay.
So listen, I'm not expecting him to come in and make a massive difference to our defence between now and the end of the season.
Fancy asset?
Good question, because I was rambling then, well done. I was rambling. So 5.4 I think he's in the game. Does he make us a bit more assured at the back? You've got to think that he does. But the guys are quite rightly saying that Liverpool have only conceded 3 goals at home all season, so pretty assured anyway at Anfield. We're more leaky away. I think it's a watching brief, isn't it? Right. For 5.4 you can have a Christensen, can't you, in that sort of price bracket, or a Jones, or even a John Stones, who we're going to come to a bit later on as a potential kind of Man City cover, given that he's back in training, one that I'm looking at. So Virgil van Dijk, FPL asset, maybe.
All right.
Watching brief.
Let's talk about your team. Let's hear about yours first.
Let's talk about the teams. Well, I think I've got yours ready here, actually. Here we go. So, trying to be more dynamic, guys. Trying to be more dynamic with this stuff. Right, here we go. Oh, no, this is you. This is you. Do you want to start with you or start with me?
Let's start with me, if you like.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
No, go on. You go, because you're chomping at the bit to tell the guys about your team. So go on. How did you get on this game week? Just want to say you have got a game week rank of 6,135. That is one of the best I think you possibly have ever had. I mean, that is sensational. 115 points, guys. 115 points. If any of you guys on the live stream and on the chat can beat that, we definitely want to hear from you guys.
Nobody in our league beats it.
Nobody in the FPL Family League?
Not yet.
Nice, okay.
It could go tonight, depending on if Loftus-Cheek does anything. But at the moment, it wins the league this week.
Right, okay.
So that was finally one of my teams comes good.
So talk us through the team then. So everybody's scoring big, right?
Well,
everybody doing something.
Only one who didn't was Phil Jones. And actually, he was one of the ones I was fairly confident would be all right this game week.
Yeah, weird, eh?
So I went into the game week feeling it might be a little bit flaky, to be honest, because I was playing, my goalkeeper was playing against my Everton defender.
Yeah.
Couldn't have got any better when it ended in a 0-0 draw, could it? Yeah, Alonso scoring, that was nice. Firmino got
Who was your transfer in for this game week?
Cabaselli from Watford out and Kenny for Everton in.
Oh, Kenny in, okay, well,
so that worked.
That's good.
Obviously, Firmino with a brace, that was lovely. Kane with his hat-trick, fantastic. Morata popped up with a goal. Alonso popped up with a goal. Sterling popped up with a goal. Richarlison and Salah on the assists.
Nice.
It was just
everybody
a great
chipping in then, basically.
Yeah, bonus points, lots of bonus points this week.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a really good game week.
So overall rank 58k.
Yeah.
Your highest of the season so far, I think.
Oh yeah.
Green arrows left, right, and centre, and actually that's coming off the back of you already had a sort of 2 or 3 decent game weeks before that, right? Because you've had Kane and all the rest of it, right?
I'm not quite sure what's happened over December, but December's gone really well. Really well for me. So I'm at a stage where I'm kind of thinking, well, I've got two transfers going into this game week again. My intention was to make one and then have 2 for the double, as we've been talking about for weeks now. Still not really sure, because actually I feel quite happy with my team at the moment. Kane will just get benched, obviously, for this game week. But yeah, really, really pleased with them.
And let's have a look at your situation in the cup, because you're still in there.
Oh yeah, I'm still in the cup. And I
smashed the guy, right?
Well, he's got
so
2 players playing tonight, but unless Zaha gets 40
get
odd
30
points, no, should be right.
Wouldn't you need a Zaha sort of double hat-trick or something to get out of the cup?
Get 6 or something. Yeah, so through to the next round of the cup, which is...
Looking good,
this is just uncharted territory for me to get this far in the cup. So yeah, I'm really pleased.
Very, very impressed.
So I've jumped up quite a lot of places in the FPL Family League. I think something like 80 places this week or something ridiculous.
Yeah, nice, up into 63rd in the FPL Family League, which is not a bad shout given that there is there's hundreds of players in that league. So that's fabulous. So let's just have a look at that while we're here. So let's see how... I know Jamal's on, so let's have a look.
There's a lot of really good scores out there this week.
Some very good scores. So Jamal, 93 is not to be sniffed at at all. Well played indeed, that man. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at Alonso, Otamendi, Clavan again, doing good for him. Salah, Kane captain, so all looking good. Lindelof and Davis. Not sure about those guys. Maybe want to think about that. But who am I? Who am I to question Jamal Rice, who's top of the FPL Family League? David Isaac, that's a new name. Not seen David up there before. So 1268, David Gangsters Allardyce, 101 points. Very, very good. D-Boy, who we know has been knocking about the top for some time, on 92. Here's a guy, Avis FC, 105, up into 5th. So it's getting pretty tasty at the top there. But Jamal's still with a very, very commanding lead. Look at that, 1, 2, 6, 6, 8. And you've got to get up to, what's my maths like? 50 odd points.
It's a big
50
big
odd
gap.
points to get to Jamal. Jamal, you are smashing it, mate.
Let's see what happens with the triple captain Canes, because there'll be a lot of them in game week 22.
Absolutely. I think we'll talk about future plans for double game weeks as well, briefly, if we've got time in this vlog. But yeah, definitely Kane potentially for the triple captain this double game week.
Right, where is your team then? Because you've done well as well.
I did alright, yeah, I did alright. So let's have a look at me.
Well, you did. It's just that you've had to deal with me going, I've got 100 odd points.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. So yeah, so I'm on 83, which is okay. I'll take that.
Yeah, but you got a bit unlucky with the Christensen not playing and that sort of stuff this game week, didn't you?
Yeah.
His illness.
Yeah, so Christensen, bit of a shame to lose out on points for him, absolutely. Kenny doing alright. De Bruyne, I was hoping for a bit more from De Bruyne. He kind of hit a post, didn't he, with an awesome shot, and he missed a bit of a gilt-edged chance. So
it was one of those games from City, wasn't it, where it was a little bit... It wasn't their usual flowing selves.
What do you think that was down to? Do you think that was down to City not being off it, or do you think that was Newcastle dug in? And actually,
they dug in. Newcastle played really well, I thought.
And actually, he got a bit of stick, didn't he, Rafa, a little bit, from Pep actually as well, about, only one team came to play, didn't really put out an attacking team.
Yeah, but that's what happens, isn't it?
I kind of agree with him, but you know what, these teams, you go out to play Man City, what happens? You get beat badly.
Well, look at us.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I honestly think that actually the only way that people are going to take points out of Man City is to do what Newcastle did and hit them on the break if you get a chance.
Yeah, you literally. I mean, this is what you get when you play City. You have to be resolute. You have to be solid, right? That's what Newcastle tried to be.
Okay. So how many did you have this week?
What did I do? Let's just skip the window. So I was on 88, I think.
So that's good.
83.
Good
So
score.
I'm reasonably happy with that.
Green arrows. You must have green arrows still.
Yeah, it's a little one. I went up from something like 700k to 500k. I've got no Palace or Arsenal, so it's going to go down a bit, isn't it, after tonight?
Well, it depends what they do, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but somebody somewhere will get some points, right? So it'll go down a bit. So yeah, I'm reasonably happy with that. Again, as I said this time last week, I'm looking at my team and thinking how much I want to change there.
Right.
I know Richarlison got an assist. He also missed a couple of chances again, Richarlison. And if I look at his fixtures, I do want to keep him. But then I look at Arnautovic doing well. I look at Lingard. I look at players like that in that price bracket who could be really, really good value. So lots to consider going forward. Lots to consider. So why don't we take a look at what's just happened in the game week? So let's react to the game week we've just had. Now, clearly, Palace and Arsenal is still going on.
It's 0-0, in case you're not watching.
It's 0-0, okay. A couple of you guys on the chat, let's just hear what you're saying. So, Richard on 86 -4 without Kane, which is pretty damn good, actually.
That's really good without Kane,
Pretty damn good. Salah Mohammed having a shocker. Sorry to hear that. There's a lot of people actually on Twitter this week.
Saw the Kane exiters.
Yeah, and that was the big talking point for the last couple of weeks, isn't it? Are you Kane exit or are you Kane remain? And there was
to know what they're doing now.
Yeah, and there was a lot of, what's the word? Not pressure, but there's a lot of advice coming from some pretty serious FPL players like James Eggersdorf and the guys on the Scout saying, definitely, I'm Kane exit and here's a reason and I want to spread the money,
so you should all listen to me.
And it's I think it's both strategies definitely had their merits. And who would have seen Kane going to Burnley and getting a hat trick? I mean, at home to Southampton you could see it, but who could have seen Burnley conceding three goals at home all season, all of a sudden Kane scores a hat trick? You just can't foresee that, right? In my opinion, you can't foresee that. But nevertheless, if you kept him, you've done very, very well. So you guys that haven't got him right now, I'd be kind of interested to hear what you're going to do.
Obviously
want him back for the double, I would imagine.
I mean, obviously you're not going to do anything about it right now because we're not playing in the next game week. But I would imagine there's going to be a lot of people doing something about it on New Year's Eve, ready for the double game week that starts New Year's Day.
I suspect so. Okay, so let's have a quick dash through some of these games. Where do you want to start?
Well, should we start with Spurs, given that we've virtually done that game? I don't think there's much else to talk about there other than interesting. Trippier was rested in that game. That will have upset a lot of fantasy managers.
Listen, we say this week in, week out. If you've got a Trippier, Aurier, Davis, or whoever the other guy is, Rose, you've got any of those four, be prepared for rotation.
Absolutely, and I think, somebody was asking, weren't they, on Twitter, somebody was asking me about this, and what I would do and who I would have. And actually, I'm at a stage where I can almost see in the double game week, I can see Trippier getting a game and Aurier getting a game, and I can see Rose getting a game and Davis getting a game. So for me, if you want a Spurs defender, and I'm thinking about it for the double game week, you've got to be looking at either Sanchez or Vertonghen because they're the ones that aren't going to get rested.
I think you're right, and actually with the two games so close to each other, I think there's a matter of isn't there hours between it, 48 hours or maybe 3 days.
Tuesday and Wednesday, Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah, which is bonkers, right? So he's not going to play. I mean, Poch will rotate at the best of times those fullbacks, but he's not going to play Trippier 2 games or Aurier 2 games. There's going to be rotation.
So I would say, Vertonghen and Sanchez aren't going to get you the forward movements and the goals and the assist opportunities that the likes of Trippier and Aurier are going to get you. However, they're guaranteed to play in both games. So let's talk about potential looking forward then to the double game week. Kane aside, because I think that's a given that you want Kane and you may even want to triple captain him. Who else from that Spurs team would you want? Well, I'm seriously thinking that I would quite like Ali back at the moment. He seems to be going on a nice little run.
A little purple patch, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and I listened to his interview. He's done a couple of interviews. He did the formal one after the game, but he also has done a couple for Spurs, the Spurs TV channel and stuff over the last couple of days, and he's really back to being his chipper Deli character.
So what's changed?
I don't know.
You follow these guys on Insta and all the rest of it. Is there something that's changed there? Or?
I don't know. I think he is just the type of player that when he's in a bad run of form, he takes it to heart and it gets worse.
Right.
And it just takes something that changes it. And I actually think that the Kane record scoring season and stuff, I think that's had a massive impact on the team as a whole. And for Dele, it seems to have boosted him. I don't know, he's just in a better frame of mind, he looks in a better place, he's getting more engaged in the games in the last couple of weeks. So for me, he's definitely back on my radar and he's one I'm seriously thinking about for that double. Okay.
And a word on
Sonny,
so Kraft and Richard and a few of the other guys are looking at Son, and when it's looking at Son. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming
cheaper way in. He's the cheaper way in.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you guys are looking at him because of that, right? Because if you want to go for an Ali or an Eriksen, and I'm having a look at Ali myself, although I do have a bit of a soft spot for Eriksen. I do really like him as a player. Bit off at the minute for some reason, but I do like him.
Got an assist last week.
But if you want him, you've probably, in my case, I've got to get rid of a KDB, or I've got to get rid of a Salah, which is clearly complete nonsense, right? So, how am I going to engineer him in? It's very, very difficult to get an Ali or an Eriksen in. How can I engineer a Son in? Well, with a bit of jiggery pokery, I could maybe do a Richarlison upgrade, or I could maybe lose Sterling for a week, which I wouldn't necessarily want to do either. But there would be a way to get Son in there.
Son's easier. And I think you'll find a lot of people do that for the double game week. I think there'll be a lot of Son ins.
Yeah, I think you're right. So Spurs defence, we're saying ignore the fullbacks for the double, but potentially a Sanchez. What about Lloris? Lloris is sort of 5.5, right?
Absolutely. So that's the other option, isn't it? So you know that Lloris is going to play every game.
He's now going to play 2 games.
100%. So Lloris is going to play 2 games. Vertonghen's going to play 2 games because obviously now that yellow card thing is gone. Because
we're past that.
So that's fine. So we know that Vertonghen's going to play 2 games. Sanchez has had his rest because he had his suspension, so we know he's going to play 2 games.
Yeah.
So I would say if you're looking for a way in for the Spurs defence, it will be one of those 3 that I would go for, because the other 4 are such risky. And I do think with 2 games in 2 days, 2 will play 1 game and 2 will play the next.
Yeah, so question on the chat is probably who's most likely to play both games, Sam? I mean,
defensively,
aside from Lloris, who is going to play 2 games,
Kane will play both games. I mean, Ali, Ericsson, Kane, they're going to play all the games. Dyer, he's going to play.
So it's 2 games in effectively 2.5 days.
48 hours.
Is there a risk that he puts Llorente in there for one of those games?
No.
He's going to play Kane both games.
Kane. They're having a rest at the weekend. So they're off now from Tuesday to Tuesday. So they've had 7 days off. Kane is going to play both games. There's no chance that Llorente is going to play. We need to win these games. What could happen in that West Ham game or in the Swansea game, if we are comfortably winning,
he holds him off.
You might lose Kane.
He holds him off
at 60 minutes, but he will play both games.
Okay, and if he gets hauled off after 60 minutes, you've got to assume that you're ahead, and therefore he's probably got some FPL points in the bag. Right. Okay. All right, I like that. That's enough about Spurs. Southampton, who you played at the weekend, not looking great for them. Not looking great for them at all. So Cedric Suarez is out. Virgil van Dijk clearly gone now, although he's not been playing. The chap on the other side whose name I forget, Bertrand, is also out. So they've got a bit of a defensive crisis. And on that basis, a lot of people captained Kane. Do you think a lot of people are going to captain Man United players now for the weekend, given you've got Lukaku, maybe even Zlatan, I don't know, Lingard playing well? Against that ravaged Southampton back line, are they an option now?
Yeah.
I think they've got to be, right? They've got to be.
I mean,
Southampton look really bad.
I mean, that's what I always have a think about when my transfers are going in advance. And actually, I looked at that Southampton game and I thought, yeah, Man United player all day long.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that when we get to talk about the next week's games. But yeah, Southampton look...
They're not going to keep a clean sheet. I think that's the first point of note. Again, they look terrible against us defensively. But they do have...
Yeah.
They were all right going forward against us. Did score a couple of goals, so they can take some confidence from that. But yeah, I think Man United will at the beginning of them.
Okay, so we've discussed the Spurs double game week. Let's talk about the West Ham game from the weekend. So I think they went to Bournemouth and drew 3-3 in somewhat controversial circumstances. I think Callum Wilson's goal, I've seen it a few times. I think he does get a touch. I think he possibly is offside, and therefore West Ham are a bit unlucky not to win that game.
Arm.
Yeah, and not just a touch off his head, which would have potentially been offside, but a touch off his arm as well. So not just offside, potentially a handball as well. So I think Moyes has every right to be a bit upset
out of it.
about
You're happy though, aren't you?
Yeah, particularly as I think they were 2-1 down with about 86 minutes to go, and Arnautovic,
yet again,
one of them was a complete Begovic howler. For you guys that haven't seen the Begovic howler yet, you've got to see this.
Dire,
slipped over. It was really, really rain, wasn't it?
Was terrible.
And Arnautovic just popped in and got one. So
it was one of those cringy moments that you kind of went, oh.
It'll be on Christmas football howler DVDs from now until eternity. Right? But Arnautovic, let's talk about this guy. So 2 goals at the weekend, hit a bit of form. He's a streaky sort of player. When he has a sulk, he'll have a sulk for a few games, and you ignore him at all costs. But when he starts getting on one, you ignore him at your peril because he's on one and he's on one.
Agree.
So Arnautovic for the double game week. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
In a word, yeah. Is
he
easy to bring into your team?
Right. So this is my frustration. Okay. So up until last night, there's been a goal.
Oh, it's an Arsenal goal.
Yeah.
Talk about that in a minute.
So we'll get to that. So up until last night, I could afford to straight swap with Richarlison.
Mustafi, by the way. Mustafi.
People have him.
Me. Let's have a look at this. Ozil free kick. Sanchez header.
Oh.
There's a lot of ping gosh. Gets wide to Lacazette. He faffs about with it for a bit.
Keeper saves it.
Nice finish, Mustafi. Yeah, nice finish.
Right, so up until last night, I said to you, didn't I can afford to do Richarlison straight swap to Arnautovic. And then Arnautovic went up by 0.1 last night. But I wasn't going to do it last night because they've got a blank at the weekend.
No, quite right. Yeah, quite right.
So this is where my dilemma lies. I can do Arnautovic, but then I'd have to downgrade somebody else as well to save 0.1, which is fine. I can do that. Or I could do Lanzini, who I can afford to straight swap in.
Okay.
But yes, I do think I'm going to have a West Ham player for the double game week. It will either be an Arnautovic or it will be Lanzini.
And what's your view on? I put a tweet out there not so long ago to say we're all maybe getting a little bit overexcited about the West Ham double game week. Spurs double game week, absolutely. They're playing West Ham and they're playing Swansea. So you want to load up on as many Spurs players as you feel appropriate. For West Ham,
West Brom.
They're playing West Brom, and then there's obviously going to Wembley. So
yeah, but
you're not expecting them to get too much at Wembley, right? So do you want to be loading up on Masuaku and Ogbonna and players like that? Not for me.
We're not solid at the back by any stretch of the imagination. So whilst I don't think that West Ham will win the game, it's a London derby and anything can happen. And we are leaky at the back because our game is going forward, and without Toby at the back, we don't have that command that we used to have. So I can see West Ham coming to Wembley and scoring goals against us. Now, if they're going to score goals...
What? Plural? More than one?
I could see it being 3-2, that game.
I'm not sure myself. I'm not sure. Okay, well, let's see. I mean, I certainly think that I'll be looking at one of the West Ham guys. And the reason I'm looking at it, and I think this is one of the tips I would say for the double game week, is that if you're going to bring in somebody from West Ham, or indeed from Spurs for the double game week, you want to make sure that you want them for the next few weeks after that. Otherwise, you're just transferring them in for a game week and transferring them out.
Correct.
So it costs of 2 transfers, effectively,
which is
are
why
precious
Arnautovic and Lanzini,
to get them in.
The options.
Yeah, and actually, if you look at both of the sides, both Spurs and West Ham, they've both got pretty good both got pretty good fixtures after the double. So if you're bringing in an Arnautovic or a Lanzini, I think that's okay.
Fixtures are tough. We've got Everton, Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Let's have a look. So let's have a look at the ticker. I did prepare this thanks to the wonderful guys at Fantasy Football Scout.
Yeah, the 13th we've got Everton. Then we've
Everton
got
at home, so that's all right.
Yeah.
Southampton away, brilliant.
Yeah,
You take that right
but
now.
But now look at the games after that. So it's Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Okay.
Like all the big clubs come in February.
Okay. So but at least for a couple of weeks after the double, you're
wary.
okay. West Ham, interestingly, have got the double. Then they've got Huddersfield away, Bournemouth at home, Palace at home. So they're really good. So if you're going to bring in one of those guys, that's fine.
And
right?
that's why I think Arnautovic and Lanzini, one or the other. I don't think they want both, but one or the other. And it depends. It's probably going to depend on whether you can afford, because they're slightly different price points now.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
okay.
I think they're options.
All right, so much to say about Bournemouth in that game. Ake,
goal and an assist.
And a goal and an assist. And actually, I thought got one ruled out for offside as well. So he was a good option for us at the beginning of the season. I don't know if he's back on any radars. Let's just have a quick look again at the ticker and see what Bournemouth's fixtures looks like. Everton and then Brighton, Arsenal, West Ham away, Chelsea away. So it's looking actually mixed towards the harder end of the scale, if you like, sort of short term for Bournemouth. So I don't know if I'd be going there with a Bournemouth defender right now.
Okay.
So not much else to say on that game, I don't think, other than Callum Wilson, glad to see him get on the score sheet, albeit in slightly controversial circumstances.
Yeah.
So what other games do you want to talk about?
Okay, well let's go to Chelsea next then.
Okay.
So Morata
a professional performance from Chelsea. I
very
thought
much
it was
so.
Pretty straightforward win, right?
Yeah, and Morata back on the score sheet. I think the only thing I would really like to talk about from a fantasy point of view is Hazard, because obviously Hazard's had a few game weeks now where when you watch the games on Match of the Day, he's playing really well for Chelsea. He's doing. If I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be delighted with Hazard. As a fantasy owner, if I had him, I'd be really frustrated with Hazard.
I'd be massively frustrated because if you look, you're right. He's a man of the match last 2 games,
Absolutely.
but no FPL points. It's just a disaster.
It's really annoying. And I think and this is where I think if I had Hazard, I'm going to put my teeth in a minute so I can speak properly. If I had Hazard, I would be really seriously thinking about a transfer to somebody like Eriksen or Ali for that double game week, because I just think that whilst he is the decent player, and whilst you know that at some stage he's going to get points, it's not constant, is it? Yeah. And it would be a point of frustration to me, particularly if I had Hazard and didn't have Morata.
So we've had a couple of interesting comments on the live chat. So Eric Lord is saying Captain Hazard versus Stoke this game week.
Really?
Why the hell not? Why not? I think that's a great differential.
Because at the moment, from a fantasy league point of view, I wouldn't trust Hazard.
Yeah, but yes, but look at the underlying stats. He's due.
Oh,
basically.
he is due.
And I know
totally.
I hate using that phrase because isn't every player due? But his underlying stats look great. He's putting in man of the match performances. Yeah. It's not like he's out of these games.
No, not at all.
He's playing really, really well.
And I'm not saying that at all. But I just think that is there a risk that he's doing what KDB did at the beginning of the season? and he's
no, he's totally different. He's a different player. If I had him, and I'm thinking about captaining Morata this game week, by the way. If I had him, I think I would put the armband on him. And actually, Spencer's saying quite rightly, Stoke with no defence. So Shawcross is out, Indy is out. They've got no one to play at the back.
Look, I'm not for any stretch of the imagination saying don't captain a Chelsea player. I'm probably going to captain Morata, and I'm certainly going to play Alonso. But I would worry about captaining Hazard. Is all I'm saying. It's a great differential, but I think that there is an opportunity that you get another blinding game week and Chelsea fans up and down the country applaud him and he gets you no fantasy points.
Okay. All right, and Alonso as well scored again at the weekend, so every time this guy scores it hurts me. And I thought at least I'd have Christensen to cover the
you were really
clean sheet.
I was in the kitchen and he went, Sam.
Even he was like rested or he was ill or something. I thought, oh, Conte, what are you doing to me?
He was ill.
So
Christensen was ill.
My question to you, and one of the guys on here, everytipco.uk, thank you for that. I think Alonso is a decent captaincy shout right now. Maverick move to captain a defender. What are your thoughts about that? Because we're in a game week where we've got no Kane, so clearly we've got to come to you for a bit of a different sort of captain than you're used to. The safe money says Morata, because I know you've got Morata. The interesting money says Alonso, doesn't it?
I can't put it on a defender. I just don't trust.
Why not? I think that's a great shout.
Because whilst I think Alonso could score a goal, he's got every chance of scoring goals in that game week.
He's on fire right now. He's at a bit of form, isn't he?
Absolutely. It doesn't feel right, does it, to captain a defender? I don't know.
Never mind what feels right. This FPL season is unprecedented, right? We've had so much stuff that doesn't feel right.
But this is the thing with me. I play fantasy league often with my heart rather than my head. And it's doing me all right.
So you're still going to captain Kane this game week?
Yeah, I'm still going to play Kane. I'm going to captain him because he's going to play by himself, bless him. No, I'm...
Vice captain Alonso.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm going to... I don't know. It's the defender. If Alonso was a midfielder, yeah, sure, I'd put the captain on it.
Amonet's saying Alonso. Last 4 game weeks, Amonet is saying Alonso 40 points, Kane 38 points. Alonso is on fire right now. If I had him, I would seriously. I think it's a great show.
Can you imagine what you would do if I captained Alonso? You'd sit there. It's bad enough when
I would be behind that sofa like you would not believe it would be, because you guaranteed a clean sheet. I think the clean sheet looks more or less nailed on against Stoke. The one thing I will say, and very good point made here by Dom J. Thanks for that, Dom. So Morata scored 3 at Stoke. So now he's at home. Can he do it again? I mean, he's clearly got a bit of joy against that back line. And it is, the guys are saying, right, Shawcross is out, Indy's out, Peters is out, Zuma's ineligible because he's a Chelsea player. So they've got nobody. They've got literally nobody.
I think I am going to captain Morata this week. I think that's going to be what I'm going to do. I'm
going to convince the guys that Alonso is a good option before the end of the game.
I think he's a great option, but I just I'm not sure about him as a captain choice because he's a defender. Maybe I might change my mind, but I'll basically make a decision based upon when I wake up on Friday morning, who feels right.
God. Okay, all right. Next game.
That's tomorrow. Gosh,
next game. I know, it's coming up thick and fast, right?
Well, let's go to the other big clubs then, shall we? Let's talk about Man United, because there was some good, decent fantasy points going on there again. So Lingard. Now,
yes, absolutely.
I've got to be honest, I've really overlooked Lingard this season. I've not really paid any attention to
him. So is everybody until the last 2 or 3 game weeks, right?
So when I was looking at the fantasy app, I don't even know what night it was, some point this week, and I looked at how much Lingard is. I could not believe that
What's he in at? 5.6,
I think. That I could get rid of Richarlison and have Lingard. I think he's 6, isn't he?
6 million.
I think.
Okay. Well,
but,
all right.
But I could get rid of Richarlison, have some money in the bank, and have Lingard. To me, that is baffling. That this guy is.
And the United fixtures don't look too bad. So Southampton at home, which I think it's a cracking fixture for United. I think there's FPL points left, right and centre there.
Yeah.
Everton away is a bit trickier. Stoke at home, another brilliant fixture. Burnley away is trickier, and then Spurs away. So it looks a bit mixed, doesn't it, for those away games? But look at those 2 home games, Southampton and Stoke. There's FPL points left, right and centre there. My only challenge is that if you get, say, a Lingard in this game week, are you then... Does he take up that slot that potentially you want for an Arnautovic or a Lanzini or not Son? Son's a bit more expensive, but for your West Ham double game week midfielder, does he take up that slot? Well, maybe not. I mean,
Does
he's
it matter?
shown that he can do the business, Lingard, any given game week.
But no, what I mean is, does it matter if I get him in for just the Southampton game? I know it's...
What, and then ship him on for somebody else?
And then move on to an Arnautovic or Lanzini the game week after. Does it matter?
I don't think it does. I mean, the only thing you've got to consider is that Watford are at home at Swansea. So if you're thinking, and I'm assuming you're thinking Richarlison out for Lingard.
I'm all over the place with what I'm thinking.
You're clearly not. The team's in great shape.
No, I'm all over the place in terms of what to do about whether to even make a transfer this week, but I'd lose it because I've got 2 free ones, and I hate that. So I might actually deal with my I might deal with my keepers, to be honest, because they've both got terrible fixtures this game week, so I might deal with them instead. But
Okay.
Man United, and I think Lingard is a nice cheap route into the Man United midfield.
What do you think about Juan Mata? That's just come up on the chat there from Eric Lord.
How much is Mata?
Does it matter if you Mata in your fantasy team? I like that. Very good. So Mata, I mean, I think he's a bit more expensive. He's more in the... Well, I think he's like in the 8-ish bracket.
Then, no, I wouldn't have him.
Plus, I don't think he's kind of nailed on, right? I mean, he's still resting and rotating him, and he's having a look at... I mean, Mkhitaryan's getting a bit more game time now.
Well, Mkhitaryan's apologised, hasn't he, for his petulance?
Oh, has he?
I think so.
Okay, so what's Mata?
Right, so Lingard is 6.1. Mata is 6.8.
Oh, I've got that wrong. Okay, so Mata is kind of... Okay, so he's in that sort of bracket. Lingard looks to be the one on form. If you're going to get one, I think it's Lingard.
I think it is too. I think if you look previous game weeks, so Lingard, 13 in the last game, 5 in the game before, 10 in the game before, 3-2, 15, 12.
So what are we saying about the United FPL assets in general for that upcoming Southampton fixture? We're saying Lukaku...
Buy.
So, on that basis then, do you get rid of Kane for a game week and put Lukaku in and then bring Kane back in?
If I didn't stand to lose point however many.
That's it, I think, isn't it? That's it. I think that's a good strategy, and I think people that are recently on to Kane...
Look, if you got Kane just before the Burnley game, then and he's not gone up in value, or he's gone up by 0.1, absolutely. Get Lukaku in for one game and get Kane back for the double, definitely. If you're like me and have had Kane since the birth of Christ, then stick with him because you lose too much in value.
Yes, I think so. I would stand to, I think, 0.2 team value overall.
Might even be more than that for me.
If I got rid of him, so I'm not going to do that. But I do fancy Lukaku to score big against the Saints. He is a bit of a flat track bully. We've seen that with Lukaku before. He's just started to look a little bit better recently. Still looks a little bit immobile for me and a bit unhappy. But that Southampton back line is there for the taking.
But absolutely.
At Old Trafford,
absolutely.
They can park the bus if they want, but it'll be a pretty rusty bus, I think.
Mourinho is in the same place that Spurs were a few weeks ago. They need to batter somebody. And it could very well be Southampton.
Under a bit of pressure, isn't he, Jose?
I just think that Man United, they've gone out the cup in a way that shouldn't necessarily have been, but it was a shock. They've had a couple of poor performances, draws at home to Burnley. Can't remember who they drew with the game week before. But he's just under a little bit of pressure at the moment, and I think what he needs is his team to just go out there. He'll let the horses run free as he liked to do at the beginning of the season. We've not said that for a while, and we should see a decent points haul for United players this
One
week.
player I thought we would see immediate returns from, by the way, is Pogba, because Pogba, going into the suspension, was banging them in, getting FPL points all the time. And no, you definitely can't do that. Out. And he actually could be a great shout for the Southampton game. But he's looking a bit deeper. He's looking as if he's playing a bit more of a
But is that because Mkhitaryan's not with him? Because at the beginning of the season, when those two were playing together, they played fantastic.
Well, no, the guy that's benefiting from that right now is Lingard.
Well,
right? So he's sitting there, he's allowing Lingard to go forward and maraud and get up there with Lukaku.
And that's the worry, isn't it, with Lingard, is that, at what point does that...
That's what's happening. Yeah, sure. Okay, so that's United covered.
Burnley, we just touch on them quickly.
Very, very quickly on Burnley then.
Surprised by Burnley. Found a bit going forward, didn't they, in that game? Really shocked.
They did.
I think they should be really pleased. Moving forward, they've got Huddersfield next. So I'll be playing my Burnley assets again next week.
I think I would, yeah. I'm more than happy to stick on Ben Mee for a moment. The fixtures do get pretty tricky for them. Let's have a look at those. The Burnley fixtures, so Huddersfield and then Liverpool at home. We seem to be able to score against anybody. Palace away, United at home, Newcastle away. So, again, mixed, but towards the difficult end for Burnley. Are you going to stick on Ben Mee for the time being? Yeah, I think so. There's other defenders that I like the look of, notably kind of the West Ham players for the double game week, the Masuakus and people like that.
Would you really want them against Kane for a double game week?
Well, look, I mean, if you're gonna play West Brom aren't exactly scoring a lot at the minute, and their key weapon going forward, Rondon, has just been completely crocked. So for me, I can't see them scoring many goals against West Ham. But yeah, do I then fancy them to get much at Wembley? No, maybe not. Okay. But hey, so Burnley, yeah, Ben Mee, sticking on him for a bit.
Right, I think let's move on and talk about where the massive fantasy points were this week, and let's go to Liverpool.
Yeah, so you must be very happy as a Firmino owner, right?
With Liverpool.
Firmino owners very, very happy to have him in this.
I'm a bit annoyed that so many people got on him. That annoys me a bit.
I think you'll find he's not as quite as owned as you think.
A lot more people. I think I was pretty much the only person in the game that had him a few weeks back, and now suddenly,
on the basis of these videos and your input, everyone's on him.
No, on the basis that he's been really, really good lately, is why everyone's got on him. And everyone looked at that Swansea game and said, "Hello, this bloke could have a hatful." And what did he do?
Yeah.
You know, so I can understand why people got on him. I'm just a bit annoyed because it takes away my differential a little bit. Yeah, really, really pleased. I think. Obviously Salah didn't score, but he did get 2 assists, and that kind of makes up for it.
Yeah, totally right. Yeah.
You know, the guy just seems to. He can't do any wrong, can he? At the moment, it's like.
Don't need to be talking about him. Just have him. If you haven't, you're going to fall right behind. In actual fact, he's a prime captain choice, I think, for this game week. So we've got Leicester, I think, at home.
You have got
Leicester at home. And Leicester are the sort of team that like to play a bit. You know, they also like to get on the counter. They like to play a bit. So I can't see that it's a massive bus they're going to bring to Anfield. They might want to play a little bit, and if that's the case, that might suit Liverpool. Okay. So to that end, I think Salah could get some joy.
So obviously there's a few other players that I think we should talk about as fantasy assets. We'll start with the obvious one, Coutinho.
The little magician, fantastic, isn't he? Absolutely fantastic. What a goal that was. What a strike.
So I'm in a position now where I've got Salah and I've got Firmino. Shall I have 3? Shall I go with Coutinho as well? Or is it too risky?
I don't think it's risky because, you know, you look at whenever we seem to play at home in particular, all these guys are getting points. So any of you guys in the chat that are triple Liverpool right now, I want to hear how you're getting on. I mean, clearly it's going well for you right now. So Andrew Martin is saying, I have Firmino and Coutinho, but not Salah. That's interesting
really
thing,
interesting,
right?
because it's like 51.8% of the game have Salah now, I was reading.
I think it's even more than that, you know.
Well, that was the statistic I saw a couple of days ago. It could have gone up since then, of course, because it was something like 51% have got him, 48% have got Sterling, and 30% have got Kane. And you just...
It's very brave not having Salah, but then equally,
if
you're looking to climb the ranks, then probably not having Salah is the way forward, because it's a very, very, very risky move. But if you want to climb up, then not having him and having the other 2 guys is maybe the way to do it.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but then I'm also thinking about, well, you know, there's people like Alexander-Arnold who, you know, should we be players like
Sorry,
that?
Guys, bad cough.
Yeah, you're right.
I've had it for ages, haven't I? I can't shake it. It's terrible.
Can't shift it. Alexander-Arnold, and then you know, I spoke about him before. I said I thought Chamberlain could become a good fantasy asset.
So Leo is saying 97% of the top 1,000 have Salah.
There you go.
God, have him, haven't you? You've just got to.
And I'm in that now.
Andrew's saying I'm trying to climb, and I think it's a valid strategy, Andrew. Right? If you're looking to climb those ranks, not having Salah is very risky. Because Salah takes up one of your spots, right? If you have Coutinho, not everyone's got Coutinho, whereas everyone's got Salah. So you get a game week where Coutinho bangs a couple and Salah maybe just gets an assist, then you climb. But is that going to happen every game week? It's a very, very risky thing. I'm with Jamal. So Jamal's saying you need Salah. I'm with you there. I think you have to have him. The guy just
I'm with
bangs
whatever
every
Jamal
week.
says.
Whatever Jamal says, we're in. Yeah, we're in. Absolutely right. I think,
I'll go with him.
But you're right, the points are being shared around. Even the Ox got on the score sheet, and actually I think he's looked all right last couple of games.
I said to you a few weeks ago I thought he was decent.
It looks like he's going to get more game time as well, because Henderson's actually out now until February. So he's got, I think he's done hamstring or something. So someone's got to come in and kind of lead in the middle there. I think he's going to look to Ox to do that. I mean, there's a lot of people thinking he's going to put Milner in there to do that, and some games he might. But for me, I think this is the moment that he's going to give Ox his chance to do the business in there, because I think he sees Ox as a bit of a future leader.
And Klopp is fair; he will give people an opportunity, give them a chance.
I think so, absolutely, and I think he's better than, you know, Chan's on his way out. I mean, I really like Chan as a plays on his way out. Wijnaldum I like, but he's a bit kind of 50-50. The Ox could make a real difference for us over January.
Okay.
Could make a difference.
Swansea, on the back avoid. Of that, oh yeah, all right. But there's the new manager thing. So they've got their new manager today.
Who's the new manager?
You just asked me this because I can't pronounce his name.
I didn't even see the news just as you were coming on. Carvajal, right?
Yeah,
Carvajal, right? Okay. Know much about him? Nope.
Yeah, I know that he took Sheffield Wednesday to the playoffs for a couple of seasons.
Have you been on Wikipedia or something just before you come on?
No, I read about him.
Did you? Right,
on Instagram. I also know that he's managed Besiktas and somebody else. So no Premier League experience, obviously no real. But he has got.
Doesn't sound like the sort of player that you want who's going to get him up, keep him up, right?
I was expecting Swansea to sign a name, somebody that the Swansea fans will have heard of, will have.
What, Monk? Because Gary Monk was just sacked by Middlesbrough last week, and I thought it was far too big a coincidence for him to not go back to Swansea. But clearly that's not the case. They've got Carvajal.
I was expecting them to sign somebody that would make you kind of go, right, and it'll be somebody, like, I don't know. So
Felix is saying won the league in Portugal.
There you go. See,
that's not what Swansea need. Swansea, they're not looking to win any leagues, Swansea. They're looking to stay up. So I wonder whether they've just got this guy in and he's going to get them all playing with flair like Portuguese league winners. And actually, they just need to dig in and grind out a couple of 1-0s. I mean, it's a bizarre signing, right? I might be totally wrong.
Well, he gets to go to sunny Watford first.
That's a very tricky game.
So,
very tricky game.
It's a bit of a come down from Portugal, but there you are.
Move on. So I don't think any of us are thinking about Swansea assets right now. So move on.
Right, where should we go then? Let's talk about Everton, because I was quite surprised at that 0-0 draw at West Brom. I was pleasantly surprised because I got lots of points out of it.
Oh, you had Foster and Kenny, didn't you?
I did have Foster, also got bonus point, did you know?
Yeah, I didn't play him. I played Gomez.
Oh, bless
no, go on.
Yeah, so I was surprised. I still think Everton are looking decent this season now since the takeover and since there's been that change of management. Things are looking better now. They're going to Bournemouth next, and Bournemouth aren't looking great. So I can see Everton getting something out of that game. Definitely, I'll be playing Kenny. I think
you've got to play Kenny. Yeah, absolutely. I think they look pretty good. So Spencer's just saying something about Carvajal here. Sorry to go back to Carvajal. Carvajal's the author of the book Soccer, Developing a Know-How. Oh, wow. So he's got some pretentious book as well. This is, Swansea fans, this is not the guy you need. This is not a dig in, let's get out of relegation. This is we're mid-table and we want to make the next step up. He sounds like a... He's not right. I'm putting it there now. Get a tenner on Swansea to get relegated. Oh, 100%. 100%. Sorry, to go back to Everton. So Everton, continue to invest. I think Kenny's good. Calvert-Lewin looks okay, although they have just splashed out and gone and bought a new striker, haven't they? Whose name I've forgotten.
But presumably won't be able to play until the next game week anyway.
Yeah, he can't play for a bit, but that's something to have a look at with Calvert-Lewin, because although Calvert-Lewin has looked pretty good in the last few game weeks, if they're going to bring somebody in for 20-odd million, he's probably going to get a few starts as well.
Calvert-Lewin, just upgrade him to Firmino and be done with it.
Because that's easy, isn't it? Just find a spare sort of 4 million to do that upgrade. That's very, very difficult.
4 million, isn't
Go on then, we're running out of time here, so let's crack on.
Where haven't we been? Watford.
Leicester. Mahrez on the score sheet
again,
despite losing.
Brighton with the assist again. I think there's becoming a select few at Leicester that you'd invest in.
Brighton's getting ticking the assist over, isn't he? For cheap, right?
Very much so. And he got 2 bonus points this game.
Did he really?
Yeah. So Albrighton, I think, is one to definitely keep an eye on at Leicester. And the only other person I'd have at Leicester at the moment is Mahrez.
Seems to have found a bit of form, doesn't he?
Yeah, but we talk about this all the time. There is a chance, at some stage Mahrez will go wandering again. He'll disappear. Because he does. That's what he does. He appears
Anfield next week. Vardy loves playing us, by the way. Vardy loves scoring against us. Remember that worldie he scored a couple of seasons ago where he just lobbed it from way outside the box.
Not bitter at all.
It was in the season they won the league and it just flew over Mignolet. I remember that. But that's such an interesting game, that Liverpool-Leicester game, because it's both teams like to counter-attack and both teams like to not have the ball. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Okay. I'm with you on the Mahrez thing. If you're going to invest in anyone in Leicester, it's probably Mahrez.
All Brighton's worth a little punt,
Brighton,
I think,
if you want
maybe.
a cheapy punt. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that I'd invest in them before the Liverpool game, but potentially I don't know what their fixtures are like after. Actually, I do because I've written the next one down. They've got Huddersfield next. So, potentially after that Liverpool game, or Brighton might not necessarily be such a bad idea.
Yeah, the Leicester fixtures look tricky though, because even after that Huddersfield game, it's Chelsea away, Watford at home, Everton away. So very mixed. Looking difficult for Leicester. Watford, on the other hand, the Swansea game, then they go away to Man City, which is almost like too good to be true, isn't it? That is a great game to get rid of Richarlison for a double game week West Ham midfielder, because that's 22. The trouble you got then is that Southampton go to Vicarage Road on game week 23. All right, West Ham go away to Huddersfield, so you're probably happy to keep. But what if Richarlison does something in that Southampton game? I don't know.
But Richarlison has been. It's been what if Richarlison does something for so many weeks now.
I get it. For me, he's the one. I'm looking at my side, and he's the one I want rid of for sure. And if I was going to bring in Arnautovic or Lanzini for the double, or maybe even find a bit more money for a Son, or if I'm going super crazy, then I might look at Dele Alli. Richarlison is the hole in my team he's the one that'd have to make way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Final game then. Huddersfield and Stoke. Not really that much to say about it really. Your man Quainer, is it?
Quainer. Yeah.
Got an assist again this week, so more points for him.
Tom Ince, first goal of the season for Tom Ince.
Yeah, nice to see him on the score sheet.
That's it. Yeah, it is. But at the beginning of the season, we're all looking for a big season from Tom Ince. He's in a lot of pre-season drafts. Yeah. It's taken him until game week 20 to get his first game.
We'll see.
Really underperforming in my opinion, Tom Ince.
Joe Allen with another assist though at Stoke.
I love Joe Allen. He was great. He's a bit of a cult hero at Liverpool, so pleased to see him getting FPL points. Anybody else from that game we need to talk about?
I don't think so,
no,
really.
Nothing for Choupo-Moting.
I don't think that you want Stoke. I'm just going to say
not that. Right. No, I don't think. Let's just have a quick look at the fixtures for both of those sides.
Well, they've
Stoke
got Chelsea
away
next.
at Chelsea, home to Newcastle, away at United. We wouldn't invest with those next three. And then who else? Huddersfield.
They've got Burnley,
Leicester, West Ham, Stoke. So they don't look too bad. But again, where are the goals coming from? You've got to go for a Quaner or a De Poitre, and it's kind of they all get rotated up there. So for me,
I'm not getting rid of Firmino.
For me, I'm not really looking at either of those sides. Okay, so that's the game. That's game week 20 covered.
Because we've sort of talked about Man City already, so I don't think we need to go there again, really.
Newcastle, Man City, we've discussed that, haven't we? And then Palace and Arsenal, wasn't it, at half time with Mustafi scoring. So let's have a very quick whiz through what's coming up in game week 21 then. Because only 9 games, clearly, as well.
So, and obviously it gets a bit difficult for us because we've got 7 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday, and then we roll into Monday straight after with the second game week kicking off. So game week 22 starts again on Monday, 5 games.
Does it really?
4 games on Tuesday, 1 game on Wednesday, 1 game on Thursday. So we're going to struggle to come between.
When are we going to stream? This is very difficult.
We're going to struggle unless we stream Saturday night before the game week finishes, but we'll struggle otherwise.
But then you haven't had Man City or Arsenal then, so...
And we can't stream New Year's Eve, so we might have to miss a week.
We might have to just skip a week, guys, because that is looking... So what you're saying, so Sunday, New Year's Eve is Man City and Arsenal, and then New Year's Day, the 1st, there's a game?
5 games.
Is there really?
And then 4 games on the Tuesday, 1 game on the Wednesday, 1 game on the Thursday, and then we have a break.
FA Cup, isn't it? Yeah, FA Cup for a bit. Okay, so we can pause for breath after that. So why don't we do... Next stream will be at the end of game week
and we'll have to
22.
We'll have to review 21 and 22.
Yeah, so let's have a look at that. So these are the fixtures for 21. And then 22, you're right. So Monday the 1st, Tuesday the 2nd, Wednesday the 3rd, and then obviously the Spurs, which is the double, is on Thursday the 4th. So that Thursday is looking like possibly a good time to do it. And then you're saying the Cup is on Saturday?
The Cup is Saturday, Sunday, yeah. And then we're back. We're back to FPL on our little boy's birthday.
Right, okay. So I think we do. Yeah, I think we have a look at this on after the Spurs West Ham game. I think that's a sensible time to do it. Okay, so let's have very quick. I think
we should just pick out some teams that we think over this are worth investing in over these couple of game weeks. Is that the best thing to do?
Well, I think so. And let's have a particular look at the next game week because I think there's a few home fixtures there in particular against teams that are bang out of form that could lead to a lot of FPL points. So if you're looking at Chelsea, United, Watford, they're all at home against Stoke, Swansea, Southampton. that United game for me, I think that's the one that's going to put the cat amongst the pigeons because I'm expecting United to go big there.
And at the moment, I only have Jones.
Yeah, and a lot of people are a bit underinvested, if you want my opinion, in United. And I think a lot of people will be doing that. I got on Kane late, so we'll go Lukaku to Kane, Kane to Lukaku, and then back again. But Lingard, I keep coming back to Lingard. Is that I really want to roll my transfer for this game. I really want to roll it because I want to do 2 for the double. But me really wants some Man United for that game.
Whatever happens, I've got 2 for the double because I'm not making 2 this week. So I'll have 2 for the double, even if I make 1 this week. So, my dilemma is, if I'm doing a transfer, in order to just do 1, because it's important that I only do 1, so I've got a double for the double.
Double for the double, yeah.
It's Richarlison, who's playing Swansea. So, am I losing...
God, FPL hard this year.
Yeah.
So, isn't FPL hard this year?
I could potentially...
Not for you, 115 points, but for the rest of us, it's flipping difficult.
So, could I be potentially losing somebody who could get me a lot of points for somebody who could also get me a lot of points? Like, is there any value in doing that, particularly if given that the weekend after or 2 days later, I'm doing that person out again for a West Ham player for the double or a Spurs player for the double. I just don't know. I don't know what to do. I know you're right, and everything that you've said makes total sense about Watford. But Swansea have got a new manager, and you just never know.
Yeah, I get it, right?
And
this guy's written a book on how to be amazing at football, so he's clearly going to make a difference.
All I'm saying is that Swansea need... Anything's going to make a difference at Swansea at the moment. And the arrival of a new manager will make a difference. Cool, they just needed somebody to arrive.
I'll tell you, there's some comments going on here. Jamal, I may take a -12. Jamal, serious?
-12?
Jeff Holt, I'm looking at a -8. Goodness me, what's going on here? This is unbelievable.
Right, hang on, we need to understand why they would...
Isn't January the 1st that you've got a second wildcard, haven't we? January the 1st as well. So the second wildcard comes into play, I think.
On Monday, yeah.
On Monday, so...
12-point hit for what? Why?
Don't know. We don't know.
Wow.
Follow us at FPL Family on Twitter.
Jamal,
let us know, Jamal, what you're doing there. I want to understand that -12.
So what I'm saying is that I think I might, and I haven't yet decided, but I might do Richarlison to Lingard because I just don't trust Richarlison at the moment. And I
really want some United for that game.
I want United, and I do think that I don't think Swansea are going to get tanked. I really don't.
People are saying Jamal can afford to do a -30. He's that far ahead. He can afford to do whatever he wants. I think you're absolutely spot on with that.
Well, that's true. But I want to know who he's getting in if he's doing that many minuses. That's 4. What's he doing?
Let's talk about some of these other games. Let's talk about, and given that they're 1-0 down...
Yes. Chelsea assets for that Stoke game, definitely.
So can I just say about Palace Man City... So, given that Palace went away to Newcastle dug in, made it difficult for them. Could Palace do the same? I appreciate they're losing 1-0 here. It's a smaller pitch. Will that suit Palace against Man City?
Palace won't dig in.
Palace will not want to play, won't they?
They want to play, and that's what plays into City's self.
When Roy Hodgson can get teams resolute and solid when he wants them to, right?
I'm not saying
they can be boring if they want,
They can't. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they can't be resolute, but they can't be boring. Not with Zaha, not with Benteke, not with Loftus-Cheek. Those players aren't boring. Those players want to go out there and play. They want to attack, and that's why Man City will score more goals against Palace than they did against Newcastle.
Interesting. All right. So you're going again. You're backing City for a win there.
Absolutely.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Liverpool Leicester's the other one. Clearly, where I think the points might come. Again, you've got to have some Liverpool assets in that game, haven't you?
Well, I think everyone has, haven't they?
And then the other one to think about, I guess, is Bournemouth are a bit out of form now, criminally out of form, aren't they, Bournemouth? They need a win. I don't think that's going to come at home to Everton, I'd expect. I'll be playing Kenny, I'll be playing Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and I'd hope for some points there as well.
Yeah, okay. And then obviously, because we won't be coming back between now and game week 22, just be aware of that double coming up. Think about...
It's thick and fast, guys, isn't it?
Think about
it's really
what you're doing with that, because,
So we're going to have it... So you've got one transfer for this weekend, for Saturday, and then...
Unless you're like me and
as soon as Saturday kicks off, here comes the
You've got to be thinking about it Saturday.
So as soon as those games kick off Saturday, you've got to be on it, because you're going to have another transfer, and if you're rolling it, you're going to have 2, clearly, to use... On Monday, and the Monday the 1st, the deadline is going to be, it's a 12:30 game, so it's going to be in the morning on New Year's Day.
11:30.
So all of you guys are going to be waking up with a hangover New Year's Day. And
do it before you go out New Year's Eve, please.
Do it before you listen to you. So
that was the teacher in me again.
That was the teacher in you coming out again. So New Year's morning, Monday the 1st of January 2018. There is a very early FPL game week deadline.
Yeah, and obviously, that's always it's important that you don't miss a deadline anyway. But it's almost more important this time because there's that double in there.
So let's just finish up on 21. I want some jammy picks from you for 21. Got your own, anybody?
Yeah, I've got my own. Loads of people, but I don't think any of them qualify as jammy picks.
Let us know in the live chat as well, guys. If there's any jammy picks you're thinking for 21, there's some.
For me, I fancy Everton away at Bournemouth, so perhaps the likes of Lennon are on the radar.
Been Lennon before, and that's not worth it, though, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Who else do I fancy this week?
What about Ziegler back for Watford against Swansea? Didn't really see those highlights of the Watford game. Don't know if he did all right, Ziegler, but
I don't really.
He's back, isn't he, and playing?
Oh, I don't know. We did talk about Zlatan, didn't we, for Man United, if he starts.
Zlatan? Can you have Zlatan as a jammy pick? I really like that. He's got to be well under 5% owned, doesn't he, Zlatan?
Should have thought so, shouldn't it?
Got to be. And actually, I think, definitely started the last game. I think the challenge you got is it didn't really work for him, did it, United? It wasn't until Lingard came on and made the difference and he changed the shape of it, Jose. Let's see what you guys are saying.
Because that's the other thing, isn't it?
Atsu. Okay, yeah, Atsu, who had a very, very good start to the season at home to Brighton. I like that, guys. That's good. That's from Rich and from Kraft as well. Atsu. Let's see if
he's owned by 0.2.
Who's Zlatan?
Yeah. You wouldn't have him though because he's
9. Zlatan as a jammy pick.
Well, he's 9.6, so you wouldn't actually get him in your team, but that's why only 0.2% have got him. Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Every tip code that came Milner. He could come in as Chan is out and Henderson. So there's a good point. So I think Milner's probably going to play.
Chamberlain, to be honest, is more of a jammy pick for Liverpool.
Is he? Yeah, I think he possibly is. I don't mind Milner though, because again, we haven't really figured out who's on penalties for Liverpool either. We think it's Firmino, but it could be Milner. So I don't mind Milner as a jammy pick. Benteke versus Mangala. Well, this is something. So Amwanit, you're quite right to point that out. So this is something that we haven't discussed yet. We're going to run out of time, but the Man City back line, now that Kompany's injured again, sad to say he's injured again, oh man, who's the other guy at the back? Stones is injured, isn't he, but coming back, and then they've got Otamendi clearly, who's in there and playing really well. So Mangala,
and worth his weight in gold just for that goal line clearance alone.
Oh, fantastic goal line clearance!
We didn't mention that, did we?
But now we've got Otamendi and probably Mangala for a couple of games until Stones comes back. Is Benteke a good option? Palace at home to Man City? Is Benteke a jammy pick? I don't know. I like it. But John Stones, guys, one to look out for. He's going to come back into that side, and if Pep's got any sense, he's going to bring him straight back in. He's way better player than Mangala, right? Probably first choice. Until he was injured, was having a really good season. So at 5'4", I think he covers your Otamendi. If you can't afford Otamendi, and I'm in that bracket, I've missed the boat on Otamendi, no doubt about it, because he's 6'2", 6'3" now, right? And it hurts, it kills me every time he gets the clean sheet, because he often gets bonus points as well. He loves a blooming sideways pass. But John Stones could come in at 5'4".
6.3 now, Otamendi.
6.3. God, yeah, definitely missed that one. So he could be one to have a look at John Stones, in my opinion.
We also didn't talk about David Silva again, did we, being in Spain again? Yeah,
so Silva's still something not quite right with him personally, is there? So he's not in the side at the moment. So if you've got him, I think
Sterling, swap to Sterling.
I think if you've not got him, if you've not got Sterling, then yeah, get him out for Sterling. Top points pick for the game week.
Okay.
Sorry guys, yeah, it's cough, can't shift it. Top points pick. Let's have a look here.
But it can't even be Kane, can it? It will be right. It'll be Kane for game week 22, surely, because he's got 2 games. So go on. What's your points pick for 21?
I keep excuse me, frog in my throat. I keep coming back to either Chelsea or United, and I really think there's some massive points for United in that game. That's why I like the look of Lingard. I do think Lukaku, he's done nothing for weeks, hasn't he?
Start. This is my other worry.
He has to, because Jose surely has learnt his lesson that he played Zlatan and Lukaku together at the weekend. It just didn't work. It didn't work. And when Lingard come on, he changed it. The dynamic changed completely. So for me, Lukaku is maybe a bit of a not so obvious top points pick, if you like. If you want a more obvious one, I think you go to Chelsea, you go to Stamford Bridge. The fact that they are playing an injury-ravaged Stoke side. I like Morata, but I'm going to say Hazard because...
Oh, you're not going to say Alonso? I thought you were going to say Alonso.
No, Alonso... So any one of those Chelsea picks, I think you're absolutely right, and I'm hoping Christensen's back.
He's only ill. He's beaten right now.
So I'm hoping he's back. But I'm going to say Hazard, and I think some of you guys were saying it in the chat before. The underlying stats look really good. You know, he's only a penalty away from a goal and bonus points.
Yeah.
Morata doesn't seem to either, and I'm going to temper what I say here a bit because I know he got a hat-trick at Stoke, but he doesn't seem to lately get, 3 goals or 2 and an assist. He'll get the goal and he'll get you 6 or 7 points. But Hazard is explosive. If I had him as captain, I think I'd be really, really tempted to go Hazard this game week. So I'm going to go top points pick Hazard. What else do we need to talk about? Jamie picks, top points pick. Any transfers for you this game week?
So I think it's going to be Richarlison and Lingard. I think.
You think? Okay.
And then it will be. I think. I don't know. And then it'll be another Spurs. I'll definitely be getting another Spurs player, potentially another Spurs player and a West Ham player for the double. Okay.
I think I'm going to be boring. I think I'm rolling it. I do like the look of Lingard.
If I didn't have 2 already, that I was going to lose one of, I'd roll it for a double.
Yeah. I do like the look of Lingard, but I do worry that the points could go to Lukaku or Pogba or Zlatan or Ashley Young or and Lingard's got 2 goals. I mean, maybe if you go in there, are you chasing the points a little bit? Is he going to do that again this game week? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. This is a funny old FPL season.
Done it for a couple of games now, hasn't he?
But for me...
oh, Palace!
Is that Andros Townsend?
What? I just caught it out of the corner of my eye.
From your reaction, that's got to be a decent goal, isn't it?
I only saw it just out of the very corner of my eye. So
and as a Spurs fan, you're obviously devastated that that's happened.
It might not have been as good as it looked out of the corner of my eye, but I just was looking at you and out the corner of my eye, I just saw this ball fly into the bottom corner.
Bear with us, guys. We've got to have a look at this. Zaha gets it wide. Let's have a look. Cuts inside. Little dummy step over, liking that. That's a good finish.
Nice.
It's a good finish. It's kind of behind him a little bit, and he's actually dug it out, got a tail on it. Andros Townsend, nice. It's a Zaha assist, I think.
I'm also a big fan of Andros Townsend.
Who's marking him? There's 3 Arsenal players there looking at each other with their fingers up their backsides. Look at it.
Well done, Townsend.
Deary,
where he learned that, don't you?
Deary me. He learned that the lane, didn't he? That's what you're going to tell me. Right, guys, I think that is probably it for now. On that massive bombshell, we're going to go and enjoy the last few minutes of the Palace and Arsenal game. For you guys that enjoyed the stream, as usual, give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you've not already.
Lots of people unhappy on there about the Arsenal clean sheet gone.
Yes, Dom Jam, a minute behind. Sam, stop spoiling it. Sorry, Dom.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Dom. Yeah, sorry, mate. We are.
We're going now.
Live at the minute. We're going now, mate. Thank you all for joining in. We're gonna do our next stream next Thursday. So after the end of 22,
you're gonna get me in a real. I'll either be up or down, won't I?
So we're gonna have 2 game weeks between now and when you'll next see us. So 21's coming up this weekend. 22 then immediately after on New Year's Day, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of January. We're going to come to you after that Spurs game, right? On the Thursday. Yeah. And then we've got a bit of a breather.
You can talk to us on Instagram and Twitter and
as usual, absolutely. And because I am, Mr. Dynamic with my OBS nowadays, I've been reasonably dynamic today. Here's the Twitter page. So for you guys that are not following us on Twitter, go to @FPL Family. As you can see there on the left-hand side.
What facial expression am I putting there?
Well, this one. Well, this is just a random screenshot from the last vlog. Why have I got a picture of Milner here? I've got a random picture of Milner. I did a tweet earlier about boring transfers, and I thought the most appropriate picture was to put James Milner.
Oh, that's the second time you've called him boring this week.
He is boring. There he goes, look.
It was when he said, we need to be more boring.
And he's absolutely right, by the way. Just something else that... and it's not, it's 95% FPL, obviously, but there's some interesting stuff in there. Have you seen this?
What's that?
Harry Kane is Tottenham's talisman, but incredibly, he's earned equal 35th in the Premier League pay stakes. Look at that. So look at all these guys up here earning more.
But that's because we're a bit tight.
Look at this. Yaya Toure absolutely stealing a living on 220 grand a week. What the hell?
How much is Yaya Toure doesn't even play?
Who else we got in here? Let's have a look at this.
Dear.
Alexandre Lacazette needs to get a shift on, doesn't he? 170 grand a week.
How come you couldn't have been good at football? 220 grand a week?
I am. I've just not been seen yet. Not been scouted.
That's not what I heard.
I can dance as well as Daniel Sturridge for 150 grand a week. I can tell you that. Sling my arms around a little bit for that amount of money. Who else we got in here? Luke Shaw. Goodness me.
Should we stop talking about this? This is quite boring.
Sorry, it's boring. Yeah, it's boring. We need to wrap it up because we are at 9 minutes past the hour. So, guys, if you're not following us already, hopefully most of you guys are, at FPL Family on Twitter. I'm behind that handle. At FPL Family on Instagram. You're behind that handle. As ever, thank you for joining us and listening to our nonsense and waffle. Almost 2-1, apparently, according to Eric.
It was almost 2-1. But then I was thinking, I was actually watching it thinking, do I cheer or not? Because our man who's a minute behind would have been really cross. So I was about to think, should I say B or not?
Nice one, guys. Thank you for joining us. As ever, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, all the rest of it. You know the drill. For you guys that are interested in listening to the other FPL YouTubers out there, I think Andy is on after the Palace and Arsenal game. So if you hit up Andy, Let's Talk FPL on either YouTube or on Twitter, then definitely worth getting into that live stream as well. I shall probably be on there for a few minutes as well. I'll be diving on after the Palace and Arsenal game. So if you're on, it'd be good to say hi to you. Until next time, when we will be 2 more game weeks down between now and when we next speak. Got a lot to discuss. So it's good night from me.
And from me.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining.
Take care, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.